Hey guys, it's Pat Calcagno with Jotmon 57. It's been a while since I've done any of my vlogs, and I figured it's about time that I got back in the saddle and started doing them again. So this has been on my mind. For those of you, I know that most of you that watch my channel are people that I've been in business with, people that I've interacted through business. So you guys already know what happened last month. But for those of you that aren't in business with me, happen to just be floating through my channel, I've mentioned it before. I am an affiliate marketer. There's several companies that I'm affiliated with. I sell, anything from Amazon, Spotify. There's a lot of companies out there that have affiliate programs. Well, one of the companies that I was associated with, and I was doing most of my business through, was a company called My Online Business Education, or MOBE. Well, for those of you that don't know, last month, the first of the month, the Federal Trade Commission, the United States Federal Trade Commission, basically shuttered the doors. They filed a temporary restraining order against the owner and a couple of the executives and basically seized the company. And so basically what they did was they took, I don't know how many affiliates there are. I'm going to say that I know at least that there's got to be at least 2,500 to 3,000 affiliates worldwide. Not just in the United States, but worldwide. They have businesses in Malaysia. There's affiliates in Israel. There's affiliates in the UK, all over Europe, Australia, New Zealand, Singapore, okay? Every single one of those people were affected by this shutdown. Not just distributors and affiliates here in the United States. Okay, so I've heard a lot of stuff going back and forth and this and that and the other about what happened and what's going on. So I'm going to throw my 2 cents into the fire. I'm going to talk about my perspective, what I'm seeing, what I'm hearing. Now, understand, I had a career in law enforcement, so I have a little bit of a background dealing with the criminal justice system. I am not an attorney. I'm not a paralegal. I have no formalized legal expertise other than just my dealings as a police officer dealing with the criminal justice system. So there's a couple of things that are floating around that I want to address. First and foremost, okay, this is a litigation. This is a lawsuit that was filed by the Federal Trade Commission against MOBE. Matt Lloyd, the CEO, Russ Whitney, one of our promoters, and Karen Zagney, who I've heard a lot of different versions, but she's obviously an executive within the corporation. And they've made a lot of allegations. So what I'm going to do is, as an American citizen, I'm going to exercise my right of free speech, and I'm going to tell you exactly, as an American, how I feel about this entire situation. First and foremost, I want you to understand that I love my country. I am a patriot. You know what? I believe that I live in the greatest country in the world. But that being said, I don't flaunt it. I don't throw it in people's faces. And I'm tired of my government thinking that they have to go around and flex their muscles and tell the entire rest of the world how they're supposed to live and do business. Okay, that being said, first and foremost, the Federal Trade Commission claims that they got, I think it was 168 complaints. Okay, let's just round it up to 200. They got 200 complaints. Now figure the thousands and thousands of people that have gone through this program since its inception back in, I want to say 2012 to today. And I know that there's got to be thousands, a couple thousand at least, affiliates all over the world. So out of that, 165 people have complained. Me, knowing the government, knowing how the government works, I don't buy it. I think they probably got a very, very small handful of bitches, and they saw it as a way that they could go and they could try to screw somebody over. Sorry. I'm going to call it like I see it. I'm not going to pull any punches. I'm going to tell you exactly what I feel. And the same holds true. When I get the point about the program that I didn't agree with, I'm going to tell you that too. So anyway, so like I said, the first part of June, all of a sudden, all our websites went down. We had no access to information. People were waiting to get paid for commissions on products that they had sold. I had new clients that had just come into the business. I was just getting ready to start working with them to help them build their businesses. All of a sudden, they don't know what's going on. and then the word comes out. The Federal Trade Commission has been doing an undercover investigation against MOBE and has come to the conclusion that we are some kind of illegal business. So what I'm going to do is I've tried to actually get a copy of the original complaint, and the best I've been able to do was the original complaint that was filed with the court for the temporary restraining order. So I'm going to go through that, and I'm going to talk about some of the issues there and what I see. Okay, first and foremost, one of the biggest complaints is that people had trouble getting refunds. So I want to see you raise your hands. You know what? Who hasn't had a trouble getting a refund when you want something refunded? Especially if they tell you that you have a specific window to get your refund and you're outside that window. Now, in my business, I've had a lot of people that have come in, paid for the original program, decided they didn't like it, they wanted their money back. And even if they were outside that 30-day window, I helped them get their money back. Okay, I told them where to go, how to file a support ticket to get their money back, and told them, look, if you don't get your money back, contact me and I'll get involved and we'll see if we can take this care. Because my bottom line, the bottom line is, if you don't want to be in business with me, I don't want to be in business with you. Okay, I'm looking for people that want to be in business. I don't want people that are flighty and flitty and just going around and, oh, this looks cool. Oh, I'm not interested. Bye. Okay, I don't want to waste my time. I don't want to waste their time. Okay, so this whole notion that people couldn't get their refunds is a bunch of garbage. All right? Yeah, maybe the company gave them a bunch of crap if they were outside the window, the time window for getting refunds. I mean, come on, let's be realistic. If they tell you you have 30 days to get a refund and it's 6 months down the road and you're asking for your money back, I wouldn't give you your money back either. Okay. All right, so basically they're saying that the corporation used deceptive advertising, that they were selling a $49 21-step magic formula to make you a bazillionaire, okay? And the way that the government works, for those of you that aren't aware, you have a very, 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 very minor bureaucratic bureau, a commission, if you will. And what they're supposed to do is they're supposed to take complaints and they're supposed to go around and look at businesses. So rather than go to the business and go, hey, look, we've had some issues, we're looking around, you guys probably need to change some things. No, what they do is they go behind everybody's back. They find a sympathetic court in Florida. They go to this judge and go, we have to file this secretly because if we don't, they're gonna liquidate all their assets. Never mind the fact that there's thousands of people that are working for this company, not to mention the physical employees, the people that were working in the support center in Malaysia, the people that were working in the support center in Great Britain or in the United States. And those people are suddenly unemployed because the Federal Trade Commission decided that they were going to come in and show everybody that they were the biggest and the baddest on the block. Okay? Now, let's bear in mind what the federal government has a tendency to do. If they investigate somebody and they're looking into something and they find absolutely nothing, you don't hear a word out of them. Oh, well, the investigation is still underway. They don't say nothing. If they go through an investigation and they come up with some really good stuff, serious violations, they'll tell you, hey, look, we're not going to give you specifics, but you know what? People are going to jail behind this. But then there's the third category, and this is the one that I always find fascinating. When the federal government does something, and there's really no basis for what they're doing, but they want to cover their asses, they go in the press and they vilify the people on the other side. Okay? I am not going to agree or disagree with policy or politics for anybody, but let's take a look at what they did at Ruby Ridge. They screwed up, the ATF screwed up at Ruby Ridge. First thing they did is they went public to tell everybody how they did everything wrong, right, and it was the other guy's fault. Waco was the same way. They made mistakes at Waco, but yet they went public and told everybody about how they did everything right. It was these bad guys over here. And then they ended up vilifying everybody. Okay, well, that's exactly what they've done with Matt and the guys from MOBE. They've gone public on a couple of different occasions telling the public how this is a Ponzi scheme, a pyramid scheme, how these guys are dastardly dudes, they're pressuring, they're going after the old poor retired people and they're stealing their money and, making it seem like, the poor retirees are going to be, subjected to eating top ramen and cat food for the rest of their lives. And nothing could be further from the truth. Okay? So, first of all, they never promise that this 21-step introductory offer was anything other than a blueprint. It was a step-by-step description on the things that it takes to build a business. Okay? Now they're claiming that the whole purpose of this 21 steps is to get people indoctrinated into MOBE so we can add more members. We can get more membership. Okay, well, let me tell you something. It isn't a membership. Each stage that you purchase, you are purchasing educational materials. Okay? When you become a silver and a gold, you get educational materials that teach you how to build your business. Now, granted, most of them are in the form of digital files, videos. People teaching you how to put ads on Facebook, how to use Google, how to use Bing, how to do direct mailers. This is all stuff that can be used in any business, any online e-commerce business out there. As a matter of fact, I'm going to tell you the truth. I want to say probably within the first 5 lessons that you go through the 21 steps, at least once, Matt Lloyd, the CEO of the company, tells you, you want to build a business where you have several streams of income. You don't want to depend on one company for your stream of income. So I, like most all the other affiliates, have several companies that we work with. Now I'm going to tell you the truth. MOBE was where I was getting the majority of my money, but I do have affiliate programs going with other companies. So I wasn't in the business of selling MOBE memberships. What I would do is I found people that were interested in starting businesses, and I introduced them to a business education system that would give them the tools to build their business. Okay? So one of the other complaints that we're getting is, oh, these people are trying to pressure you into selling money. All these people are going bankrupt because they're hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt to the company. Okay. This is directed directly to the FTC and to the federal courts. The people that are MOBE affiliates today, and it's July 2nd, excuse me. The people that are affiliates today that are on the verge of bankruptcy are on the verge of bankruptcy because of you, not because of MOBE, because you shut down our ability to collect our commissions and to market our products. Okay? Not MOBE, not Matt Lloyd, not Russ Whitney, not Karen Zange. The Federal Trade Commission and the federal courts. Okay? I see this as nothing more than a semi-legalized way for a federal agency to steal money. Now, I told you I used to be a cop. Let me tell you what the legal definition of theft in the state of California is. That's taking the property of another with the intent to permanently deprive that person of its use. Sounds to me exactly like what the Federal Trade Commission just did. They seized the company with the intent to take them to court, to get a kangaroo court to give them a judgment to steal millions of dollars with no basis. So here you go. I'm going to attack each and every one of the Federal Trade Commission's assertions. Number one, at no time did anybody ever say that the 21-step program was a $49 keys to the kingdom, get rich quick scheme. Everything that has ever been marketed, every person that I know that's a MOBE affiliate that has marketed this, has marketed it as a blueprint, an introduction. Yes, we use it as a front-end offer, hoping that somebody's going to buy the bigger educational packages in the back. If they don't, they don't. But there are people out there that are going to go, hey, I want to build a business, and as such, I know it's going to cost me money. Trust me, go out and look and see what it's going to take to buy a McDonald's franchise. You're looking to start at least $1 million, $1.5 million, and you better have at least $500,000 of liquid cash available to you before you ever go ask them to buy a franchise. Okay? So the couple of thousands of dollars that I spent positioning myself in the MOBE Corporation and positioning myself in this business to be able to market these products is insignificant compared to what it would cost me to go out and buy a brick and mortar business that there's no guarantee that it will work. Okay? Plain and simple. As far as your refunds, hey, I'm sorry they gave you a bunch of crap to get your refund back. You know, there obviously had to have been a reason, because the people that I know that refunded within the 30 days, got their money back with no problem. It might have taken them a little bit longer than what they really wanted, but you know what? Tell me where, I mean, with the exception of going to Target or Walmart, where you can walk in and say, I want my money back, and you're going to get your money back right then and there. Most places go, okay, well, you know, here, fill this form out, blah, 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 we'll send you a check. And then if you're lucky, 60 days later, you might get a check in the mail. Okay, one of the other assertions is that our live events were really nothing more than powerful sales pitches, and that they were bombarded with sales pitches the whole time. Let me ask you a question. You ever been to Vegas? You ever been to Atlantic City? Have you ever sat down for a 2-hour timeshare seminar because you wanted to get the free dinner in the nice expensive restaurant? Or you wanted to get the $100 free, you know, gaming card, or the $100 Amazon card? I just sat through a 2.5-hour spiel at Disneyland to listen to Disney's Vacation Resorts. Okay? They're trying to talk me into spending thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars to buy a timeshare through Disneyland. I'm an adult. I can make those decisions for myself, whether I'm going to spend the money, whether I feel that it's a reasonable reason to spend the money or not. Okay? If you spent the money and then you got yelled at for spending the money, don't blame the guy that you spent the money with. It was your decision. It wasn't his. Don't go back and say, oh, well, you know, he was some kind of Svengali, some kind of, you know, Machiavelli that twisted my mind and made me, you know, go into a zombie trance, and I spent this money without thinking about it. Doesn't fly. Okay, they also say that the MOBE business is for nothing more than selling memberships. Now, I touched on this a little bit ago. It's not. It's business education. Matt will tell you right up front, go out and find whatever niche you want to go into. You know, whether it's the healthcare niche, the beauty niche, you know, you want to sell exercise equipment, you want to be a life coach. The techniques that we learn through the MOBE program can be applied to any online business. And the majority of us are going through this because we want to be able to go to existing businesses and help them become profitable. We want to become coaches ourselves. We want to go coach people and tell them how they can, you know, use this format or that format to make themselves, you know, better businesses. It's business education. I haven't heard about the FTC going in and trying to shut down Stanford or USC, you know, or Georgetown because their tuitions are way off the book, you know. And it's really the only thing that USC is selling is seats to USC. Well, duh, that's what they're in the business for. But what are they selling those seats for? To get an education. You go to USC, you may not get an education, but if you graduate, you got a diploma that says that you went to USC. That in and of itself is worth at least half of the tuitions you pay. Okay? You know, they're saying that the misleading refund policies, that they were never quick and easy. I don't remember seeing anything that said that anything was quick and easy. They claim that, oh, it's misleading, you know, earnings statements. Before I signed up for the 49, I signed up for the 49 steps, $49 and 21 steps. I went through the program. Before I ever took another step, one of the first things I did is I went and I read the earnings statement. And the earnings statement said that the average affiliate makes about $275 a year. Okay? My first reaction wasn't, well, holy crap, this is a stupid company. If you can only make $270. No, my reaction was, well, then those people got to be really lazy, because I can see how you can make decent money through this business. And when there's people that are making upwards of $200,000 or $300,000 or $400,000 a year, there's a potential to make money. Now, I wasn't trying to make $400,000 a year. I was just trying to supplement my retirement income. And oh yes, by the way, I'm a retiree that's on the verge of bankruptcy now. Not because MOBE tricked me into spending the money, but because the Federal Trade Commission shut my business down. And I've had to try to find ways to recoup some of that money, to pay off my credit cards, to pay my tax bills, so I can continue to be in business. Now, I know that this rant's gone on for a while, and I'm sorry for that, but I've kept this bottled up for a month. The Federal Trade Commission is playing loose and fast with the law. You know, they're giving press releases and saying how bad MOBE is, but yet there's a gag order on Matt and the corporation that they're not allowed to say anything publicly. Okay, well, I'm not under any kind of a gag order. I'm an American citizen. I'm entitled to my First Amendment rights, which I am exercising at the moment, which is freedom of speech. I am not creating any kind of hate speech. There's nothing racist about what I'm talking about. There's nothing, other than contempt and utter disgust with the vast majority of our federal agencies. The only thing I'm saying is that we got shut down. There's a whole bunch of us out there that are out a bunch of money because the Federal Trade Commission decided that they needed to play God. Because you had 165 people that cried because they thought that they were taken advantage of, instead of stepping up and pulling on their big girl or their big boy pants and saying, hey, you know what? This business was a lot harder than I thought it was. Okay? Obviously, these people thought that they were going to get that really big red easy button that you get at Staples. Free plug for Staples, by the way. They were going to get that real big easy button, that they were going to pay $49, hit that easy button, and all of a sudden these checks for anywhere from $1,250 to $10,000 are going to start rolling in. And by the way, if you look at the advertising, if you look at the corporate advertising, all it says is, if you want to learn how to build a business where you can put checks of $1,250, $3,300, $5,500, or $10,000 into your bank account, then go check this program out. Nowhere, no how did anybody ever say, if you give us $49 and you sign up for this program, we're going to give you the keys to the kingdom. We're going to teach you how to build a billion-dollar business. Who in their right mind, who with any kind of flippin' common sense, is going to think that for $49, with the exception of spending $49 for lottery tickets, who in their right mind thinks that they're going to spend $49 and automatically get a business that's worth $1 million a year? You know what? It's sad. It's sad that this country has gotten to the point where common sense is, it's just such a rare commodity anymore. Nobody seems to have it. Everybody wants to cry and blame other people for what happens to them. Okay? Well, I'm going to tell you something. Everybody in this life has choices. Nobody held a gun to your head and told you to pay, upwards of $60,000 or $100,000 into the program. You did it because you saw something there. Now I'm going to tell you the truth. I know two types of people that were in this business. You had successful people, those that spent money, that saw what they could do with this business and saw the potential of a legal business, and got in the business to help other people realize their dreams. And then on the other hand, you had a group of people that spent a lot of money because they were greedy. They spent the money because they thought that, oh my God, if I spend $20,000, look at me, I'm going to start making $10,000, I'm going to start making $50,000 a month. And then when somebody told them, oh, by the way, you have to kind of work to build your business, to earn this. What? I can't just give you money and have this money magically appear in my bank account? It's kind of like a job. You have to show up to get paid. Same with this business. You have to show up and do it to get paid. So I'm done ranting and raving. The bottom line is this. I've seen and I've read the complaint from the Federal Trade Commission. There's absolutely nothing there of any substance unless they have some physical evidence that said that, you know, that there was a conspiracy amongst the upper echelons to defraud people. But if that's true, one other thing for the people that were MOBE consultants and MOBE affiliates, that for 1 minute you're there behind Matt and the next minute you want to take them out and hang them in effigy. I've heard a lot of people talking about, well, this person's going to go to prison and this person. No. If the Federal Trade Commission had found anything illegal against the law, they would have immediately turned this over to the FBI for investigation. The FBI would have investigated. If they found any merit, they would have turned it over to the U.S. Attorney's Office. The U.S. Attorney would have filed criminal charges. This is a civil suit. This is just like if you sue your next door neighbor because his dirty plum tree is dropping fruit into your pool. Or if you sue somebody because they backed into your car in the parking lot. This is a lawsuit. This is a civil proceeding. The Federal Trade Commission does not have the authority to bring criminal complaint against anybody. And since this was never handed over to the FBI for a criminal investigation, and they filed this as a temporary restraining order, it is a civil case. Nobody is going to jail. Nobody is accused of any criminal wrongdoing. Basically, what they're accused of is being overzealous, salespeople. Have you ever tried to buy a used car? Come on, folks. It's time that we put common sense back into the American culture. It's time we stepped up. We started taking responsibility for our own actions. It's time we started putting common sense back into our lives. And common sense says that if somebody comes to you and says, you give me $10 and I can teach you how to take that $10 and turn it into $1 million overnight, that it ain't going to work. But if somebody comes to you and says, hey, look, you give me $50 and stick with me for about a month and a half, I'm going to take you through some steps and I'm going to show you the different things that it takes to build an online business. These are the reasons that I think that an online business should be built today. And these are the reasons that I believe that you could build your own online business. Big difference between the two. No hyperbole involved. Maybe not even exaggeration. Yeah, maybe they showed the best of the best, but what company doesn't do that? Cable companies, telephone companies, Samsung telephone. They had a telephone that was exploding in people's pockets, but yet you still see commercials on TV hawking Samsung Galaxy telephones. You don't hear them going, oh yeah, by the way, we're the company that had the exploding telephones. Come on, people. Stop waiting for somebody else to do it for you. Pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and take responsibility for your life. Okay? If you get involved in a situation where you think you're scammed, look into it. If you go somewhere and somebody offers to sell you something for a specific price and you pay that price and you get it and you don't think that it's worth that price, doesn't matter. You agreed to pay the price. If I wanted to sell you this pen and I told you that this is the only pen like it in existence and I'll sell it to you for $20,000 and you agree to buy it for $20,000, then I am the greatest salesperson on the face of the planet and you're one of the dumbest people I've ever met. But if you agree to buy it for $20,000 and you give me $20,000 and I give you this pen, we've conducted business. Basic Economics 101, supply and demand. Okay? You weren't duped. You weren't tricked. You got excited about a concept and somebody in your life took you aside and went, "You're really stupid." Why? Because they had no belief, but you did. Trust me, every single one of us, every single person that has ever started a business has had somebody in their life that told them they were an idiot for doing it. But we do it anyway. Why? Because we're entrepreneurs. We're business people. We believe that we have the right and we are destined to own our own successful businesses. So take responsibility for your life, guys. It's your life. Man up, woman up, put your big girl pants on, put your big boy pants on, and take responsibility for your life. Stop blaming other people. So until next time, I'll see you later.